It's been over 2 months since I've had any mind-altering substance, and I think that I'm starting to lose my mind. Maybe that's why my government considers cannabis to be an essential service. Nothing says paranoia like being high in the middle of a pandemic. Since my diet prevents me from smoking, vaping, or consuming anything that's not an animal product, I ask myself the question, can I get high on meat? I only need 2 ingredients to find an answer to this question: cannabis and beef fat. In addition to the pot, I need a pot, a knife, a strainer, a pan, and a container. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm starting by making beef tallow, cutting up half a pound of beef fat and adding it to a pot over low heat, leaving it to simmer for about an hour and a half. When the fat starts to turn brown, I use the strainer to separate it from the tallow. Tallow is the liquid that melts off of the beef fat. The mind-altering effects of cannabis come from a compound called THC. And in order to activate the THC, we need to decarboxylate the cannabis. What this means is that we need to heat it over low heat so that the THC doesn't burn. There's a few ways to approach the decarboxylation process, but I chose to go with the easiest one. If you guys want to see some more methods, then smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But first I want to make sure that this actually works. I rendered half a pound of beef fat into tallow and grinded 3.5 grams of cannabis. I'm going to add both of these to the pan and heat it over low heat. I'll let the tallow and cannabis simmer in the pan for about 2 to 3 hours, stirring occasionally until the flour turns brown. After about 2.5 hours, I'm pouring the liquid through the strainer into my container and letting it cool. Now I've got some beef tallow that'll get me high, maybe. I don't know if I did this right. I don't even know if it works to begin with. Damn, that looks dark. That looks intimidating. I'm gonna let this cool and then we'll find out what we can do with it. Once this is solidified, you can basically use it, just eat it straight up. Use it as a moisturizer. But the main thing that I'm looking for is, can I get high on steak? We're about to answer that question right now. Normally I would be cooking this on a much higher temperature to get a better sear, but I'm being a little bit cautious because I don't want to burn the THC out of the tallow. I'm pretty nervous about this. This could either be a complete waste of time, or I could end up blitzed out of my mind. Either way, it's a roll of the dice. So let's get this started. Cheers. At the absolute least, that is one of the best bites of steak I've ever had. Using cannabis for me is like rolling the dice. I have no idea whether or not I'm going to enjoy it or have one of the most paranoid trips of my life. This time there actually are real concerns that I have. Like, I've been sharing my life with the entire internet. That's concern number 1. Concern number 2, there's kind of a global pandemic happening right now. I've just been keeping myself so busy that I can completely ignore that that's even happening. 3, I don't have any income source, so that's something that might make me a little bit paranoid. I'm doing this for you guys, not for me. If it were up to me, these are some dice that I wouldn't be throwing at the moment. Whoo, baby, I'm nervous. I haven't been this nervous since I committed to doing a carnivore diet for 90 days. I don't know which scenario is worse, me having a complete mental breakdown or wasting the entire day. I might actually take mental breakdown. Anyways, time to play the waiting game. It's been about 30 minutes since consuming the edibles. So I know that one of the things I get paranoid about is when my house isn't clean. So I'm going to just start preemptively cleaning so that isn't a point of paranoia if it does hit me. Well, I'm confident to say that I have found the solution to carnivore intoxication. It really worked. You can get high on nothing except for meat. This vice, I believe, has some real value. And that real value became apparent to me today. To force me to cut that non-stop machine that's just running in my mind, look back at it, see what types of adjustments I can make so that the machine is not just running better, but is moving in the right direction. So that's why I think on an infrequent basis it's ideal, because you get those epiphanies, you learn what you need to do, you can go and attack them with the same ferocity that you were attacking life before participating in this one vice for this one reflective period of time. When you have these epiphanies when you're using cannabis, you can go down a train of thought and then completely lose it. And that is exactly what happens if you use cannabis too frequently. You'll get these epiphanies, but rather than incorporating them into your life, your engine stalls right there, and just like you lose that epiphany, you lose your train of thought when you're on the cannabis, you lose your momentum in life if you stay on it. The infrequent basis keeps the gears in motion, but also the machine pointed in the right direction. Get an oil change maybe every 3 weeks. This is my oil change. This is my carnivore tallow. A few recommendations for any of you who want to try this at home. The first of which is, don't break the law. Second, don't get impatient. I was trying to finish this process before the sun set, and I might have turned the temperature up a little bit too high. When you're decarboxylating the cannabis, keep the temperature around 1 to 2 on your stovetop and check on it every 30 minutes or so, straining it after about 2 hours. In terms of dosing, I think I used 2, maybe 3 tablespoons to cook the steak with, and I'm not sure how much of it was absorbed into the steak, but I know that I absorbed enough into my body to go on a spirit quest. And I did eat another 2 teaspoons like lollipops as I was experiencing this meat-based high. That might explain why I could not get myself out of bed this morning. Fortunately, I got the knowledge that I needed and I'm ready to incorporate that into my life, so I'll be dropping the cannabis until I need another reflection period. But if you want to see how an all-meat carnivore diet is affecting me during the middle of the greatest pandemic our generation has ever faced, then subscribe to this channel to find out. Thanks for watching, happy 420, and I hope to see you all again soon.